What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Block Hash podcast channel. Today, we're doing another price prediction video, some chart analysis looking at Bitcoin. It is the end of February. It is leap year. Woohoo. Bitcoin on leap year. You never thought that would be the day in a 4-year cycle that it would explode. But we're right before the halving, and Bitcoin is putting in some nasty God candles to the upside. This is pretty crazy. These are some of the biggest moves Bitcoin has ever had in its entire history on a monthly scale, which is also ridiculous. Looking back towards the beginning of February, Bitcoin was sitting at like 40,000, 41 and a half. And it's at 63. Jeez. In 1 month, Bitcoin has gone up $20,000 plus. And still going on leap day. That's wild. But what you have to understand is now that the Bitcoin ETFs are out and they've had time to accumulate behind the scenes, BlackRock, Fidelity, Wisdom Tree, Van Eck, you name them, all those players, ARK Invest, there's billions of dollars in accumulated Bitcoin now, all OTC under the table, backing these ETFs in a tremendous amount of trade volume. Oh my God, going into Bitcoin that's just driving the markets upwards. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about whether or not this is it, because it looks like Bitcoin is on its way to break its all-time high. This all-time high is currently registered around 68, 69,000. And we are very close to breaking through it. Very close. I think the momentum and the FOMO is going to kick in very quickly. And I'm surprised this is actually happening before the halving. So, before we get to early to mid-April, when the halving happens, we might actually be above all-time highs, especially if Bitcoin moves $20,000 a month. My God. I think this is just getting started. I think Bitcoin will very easily get to $100,000. I think it'll do it this year. I've been kind of speculating on that for a while. People have speculated on this stuff happening by 2025. I don't think it'll go that long. I think Bitcoin is actually primed and juiced up to do this in 2024. And this actually could extend and be one of the longest bull runs for Bitcoin too. I think this starts beginning of 2024. I think it started late 2023. And this is going to run very clearly into 2025. Now, how long, I have no idea, but once we get post-halving, Bitcoin is going to go ballistic. So this is all preemptive. Bitcoin is starting to get priced in pre-halving. We're likely going to see a pullback at some point. I'll draw with my handy brush, where maybe let's get through it, go to 70 something, a little hype pulls us up to 78, close to 80. We pull back, Bitcoin comes back hard, just around 60,000 after the halving, and then it does something miraculous. That's what I'm speculating on at this point, because Bitcoin has been, I think, it has been stepping stones, finding ways to get up higher and having this really tight resistance area at 30,000 for such a long time. We'll say 31 and a half. And having really cleared that just in October. All right, it's doubled in price from 30,000 to 60,000 plus in just a couple months. I don't want to even speculate where Bitcoin is going at this point, but it's on a mission. All right. With that said, the philosophy is always to buy low and to sell high. I don't think people should be buying in at high points. I think it is going to pull back. It's just a matter of when that happens. Right now, it's in the middle of a tear. Bitcoin is really looking like it wants to go retest its all-time high. I think it will, but I think it's also going to either pull back before it does, like today or tomorrow, or it's going to push through. Now, depending on when you see this video, this could be a little outdated with how fast prices are moving, but I'm just doing the video anyways because I think this will provide good context as we head into the halving. So we're going to zoom in on this a little bit. We know what the macro scale looks like, but I just want to show you for the sake of it how big these moves are. All right. It has been 4 straight days of bigger and bigger and bigger moves. Now, Bitcoin has, I think, kind of stalled around 63.8, close to 64,000 from the looks of it, but it doesn't seem to have slowed down and fallen back yet. So that's what I'm waiting for. Are we going to have a red bar come in? Are we going to hover around 60, 61 and then have our pullback? It's hard to tell. There's a lot of money flowing in right now. And this is where Bitcoin gets very unpredictable. And this is where you want to actually take profit in Bitcoin because you just don't know what's going to happen. With that said, this is very close to the halving. I was expecting this to happen after the halving cycle. I thought we were going to maybe top out at 50,000. And I still do think that this could come back to 50,000 as we go through the halving. That's just my opinion. On the MACD, we are sky high. We look great on the MACD. We retested that moving average and it just decided, fuck 50,000. We're going for all-time highs. Wonderful. But you got to take into account when something gets overbought. So we're going to go to RSI. And very clearly, it's not just overbought, it's severely overbought. And in a relatively short period of time. So don't be surprised to see this pull back. It doesn't mean it's going to come, crashing down, but 50,000 is in play. I've speculated that 40,000 was in play, but it came here, retested pretty harshly, and then just rocketed back upwards like it never happened. Green day after green day after green day. There's a lot of money moving in. All right. And that really hasn't stopped. Even after the ETFs came out and people tried to sell the news, it's still just rocketed up. So I think we got a very strong area around 38,000 to 41,000 in terms of a floor. And looking at long-term trends, it's not even close where Bitcoin is. It's just kept going. So when you're in the middle of a bull cycle, you really can't say where Bitcoin's going to go at this point because I could be wrong. Tomorrow, it could just print a $30,000, $40,000 candle. Because at the halving cycle, its supply gets cut in half in terms of how much it actually rewards miners. It's a big fucking deal, especially with where the price is at right now and the demand being through the roof. And I know people are going to be buying more around these levels too. Like the FOMO is going to kick in. It's kicked in here at the end of February. And then in just a couple days, we're up here. So what I'm looking for is that pullback. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that we're overbought and we need to correct this because this is very large. It could be a small correction. It could be a large correction. Just keep in mind this traditionally happens with the halving cycle. We don't really have the same factors taking place. So this is objectively a little bit of a different halving cycle for Bitcoin. And we've had some bull markets where it's kind of occurred before the halving cycle too, but not with this popularity, this juice being injected into it. So I'm still anticipating, generally, historically, Bitcoin pulls back around the halving. Not dramatically, but enough. And that gives it time to consolidate. And that consolidation is key for it to find its way back up, not just to all-time highs, but to new megalithic highs. Okay? And it can be something that lasts for an entire year. It's something that can last clear into the next year, where Bitcoin went clear into April of 2022 at 48,000 before finally crashing. So I think we're yet to see Bitcoin's potential here, but I do think that the pullback is close. So we're obviously way above moving averages. It's not even worth looking at a moving average. Bollinger Band is destroyed at the moment in a good way. I just caution to the wind is what I'm going to say for the Bitcoin chart today in my analysis. I think Bitcoin's going to 100,000 by January 1st of 2025. It might happen a lot sooner with the fact that it's moving like this in a month's period of time. I think money will cycle out of Bitcoin, and it already is, into Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Hedera, and other altcoins very quickly and very soon. You're starting to see that happen a little bit, but you're going to see it happen on a much more dramatic scale, because people are going to take profit in Bitcoin and they're going to reinvest it to the next thing. They're going to get the frenzy going. The FOMO is going to happen. What's next? What's going to pop off? That happens every single cycle. So the real money is not in Bitcoin right now, unless you've already been holding. Bitcoin could go double from where it is now, but altcoins have yet to really move. They're still relatively flat compared to Bitcoin. Dominance is probably through the fucking chart if I were to pull it up. So look for that around the halving. Look for maybe an altcoin summer. I think that's probably the more likely scenario. We need to see how Bitcoin plays this out. Is it going to go to all-time highs in the next 48 hours, in the next week? Is it going to wait until after the halving? That's key. Once Bitcoin breaks through its all-time high, all cards are off the table. We're just going to watch because you can't chart anything when it goes parabolic. But start looking for a pullback. Start expecting that, because that'll be a healthy sign if we're going to continue up. If not, and then we're looking at something just we haven't seen before in Bitcoin. And we are looking at times we haven't seen before in Bitcoin, honestly, with the ETFs and money moving in, and governments and countries, companies and institutions and banks really starting to accept Bitcoin and, treat it like it's an actual currency and like it's an actual asset, and to take it seriously as much as they take gold seriously. That matters. That matters in the price. And the halving's coming up. Supply gets cut in half. What can I say? Or the inflation rate gets cut in half. So that's it. That's all I got for Bitcoin. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's take a look. Let's see what the fuck happens. It's an exciting time. It's been a rough couple of years, and this bear market that we've gone through, we're finally out of that bear market. It's exciting times ahead in the short term and medium term. And we'll jump back in on this pretty soon to see what happens. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Be sure to like the channel, subscribe if you haven't already. If you have, thank you so much. We appreciate all of you, and we'll have another video out soon. Check out podcast episodes in the meantime. And that's it for today. Cheers.